Hello folks, Everchanger here, and welcome back to more Pokemon Blaze Black 2. Last time we began our exploration of Reversal Mountain, showing off a very amusing glitch, among other things. And this time we will hopefully be concluding our exploration of the mountain. Hopefully it won't take us too terribly long. I have a feeling that will be a trend in this episode, running into these repeat Pokemon. Anyway, if we loop over here, we have a nugget. Very nice. Definitely going to want to sell that for some extra cash. I know future me is going to hate present me for having to cut out all of these wild encounters, but I guess that's just a trick of the trade. That being said, I'm pretty adamant about not using a repel in this area because I'm sure there's stuff in here that we can find that we do not yet have. And this is apparently one of them. I could have sworn we had Spoink. Oh right, we encountered it last episode, but we actually had it knocked out on us and we never saw another one. I forgot about that. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to hope Musharna is going to play off Mienfu's weaknesses to Psychic, and I'm just going to stall and switch to Lucario. I totally forgot that we didn't actually catch Spoink last episode. Maybe that's why I thought we caught 5, but instead we caught 4 last episode. And it looks like we got lucky. Mienfu takes Psychic to the face, and it looks like we are getting our chance on capturing Spoink. Now, if I remember correctly, didn't we actually catch Grumpig a few episodes ago? I thought we did, which means we're sort of doing this line out of order if that is indeed the case. Anyway, let's see if we can catch it. Alright, we caught it. Spoink was caught. Very nice. Got our quote-unquote revenge on it. Using its tail like a spring, it keeps its heart beating by bouncing constantly. If it stops, it dies. This is probably one of the more famous morbid Pokédex entries. It's just, I don't know, that's just a weird one to me. Anyway, we have even more trainers right here. I'll knock you down with mountain power. I may be a backpacker, but I'm also a treasure hunter. Oddly enough, treasure hunter is capitalized right there, even though it is not a trainer class in the game. I don't think. So, I'm not sure why they capitalized that right there. Right here we have Wormadam, which I'm not sure if we've seen before. If we have, I apologize, but basically it's the evolved form of Burmy, and unlike Burmy, it cannot change its form. Whatever it evolves as, it will stay as. Kind of an interesting Pokemon because I want to say its stats, as well as its type, are different depending on what form it's in, which I think is pretty fun. It's kind of Pokemon like these that Game Freak wanted to introduce earlier in the series, but they couldn't do it just because it was a bit of a programming challenge in order to do it. These Pokemon that had the same Pokedex number but were, for all intents and purposes, different. I don't know why I just did that. This is what happens when I'm talking. I just mash A without a care in the world. I think the main Pokemon to illustrate that is Shellos and Gastrodon, who were originally going to be introduced in Ruby and Sapphire, but were held off until Diamond and Pearl because of the unique form change mechanic that they wanted to introduce. Anyway, it looks like that misclick cost me a little bit because that was pretty much a waste of a turn on my part. Although I really don't have much to go against these opponents either way, but at least Thunderbolt will do some damage to Wormadam. And it actually brought it down. Very nice. Get our experience for that, and of course we are gonna get a self-destruct out of Graveler right here. Luckily, does not do very much damage to me, and Magnezone gets level 52. Very nice. Up next we have a second Wormadam. This is the ground type form. I wonder if this is going to be a showcase of all of the different Wormadam forms. Anyway, I think we'll do Magnet Bomb on Rhydon just to bring it down here. I think this will knock it out. Wow, not even close. Although it was super effective, so there is precedent. Ooh. That hurt a little bit. Alright. Luckily, it's going to take an energy ball to the face, and down it goes. Very good. Alright. So, I would be willing to bet that once we bring down this Wormadam, the final form of Wormadam will come out from the opponent's side, which means we should be getting a sort of showcase of all three forms right here, which is pretty neat. This one is Ground and Bug, the first one was Grass and Bug, and the last one is Steel and Bug, which I think is a typing that, aside from this Pokemon, is only held by legendary Pokemon? No, that's not true. I'm pretty sure Fortress is Steel and Bug. Either way, went down quite quickly, actually. And we have our victory. Okay. I think we want to head down this way, because we have a PP up. Very nice. Again, jokes to be made, will not be made. Alrighty, pressing on here. We should be getting to... As I was saying, we should be getting to around the end of the area soon. At least I hope soon. But for now, we have 2 ace trainers to fight here, which is kind of crazy. Alright. Let's see what they're going to pull out on us. Ace trainers are usually a step above the other AIs, although one of them only has 2 Pokemon, which is a little odd. Alright, we have Camerupt and we have Vigoroth. I think it's probably in our best interest to attack that Vigoroth, since we can hope that Musharna is going to be aiming for the Camerupt. But then again, that's putting faith in the AI, which, as I've mentioned, is not smart at all. And Vigoroth goes down with 1 Thunderbolt. I am so glad we came across that Thunderbolt TM when we did, because I have a feeling by now, Spark would be a little underwhelming in terms of what it can do. Anyhow, out comes Whimsicott, which means once again Magnezone is at a disadvantage, but I think if we hit Camerupt with Magnet Bomb, it should go down, even though I think it resists Steel. Wow, it actually lived through that? I am legitimately impressed, considering the level advantage we have on this thing. Plus, I wouldn't think this thing would be very specially defensive. Magnet Bomb's a special move, right? I actually don't remember. That's one of those things that I haven't really committed to memory. I usually just guess. Kind of like how with quote-unquote chubby Pokemon, I usually assume that they're very bulky and defensive. And I'm sure that's not always the case, that's just sort of an assumption I make. So there's probably been a point in this series already where I've said something is very bulky just by looking at it, and I'm completely wrong. Trust me, I've been playing this series for over a decade. Anyway, Psychic going over to Whimsicott, and it actually survives, which is surprising. And out comes Licky Licky. I think I'm going to use Thunderbolt on Licky Licky just because Whimsicott will resist Thunderbolt, and I'd like to get a bit more damage out. Decent enough amount. Alright, who's Musharna gonna aim for? Whimsicott, so it looks like I made a decent call, especially since if I had knocked Whimsicott out, Shadow Ball would have done zilch to Licky Licky. So this is the last Pokemon out, and I think Thunderbolt will bring it down quite quickly. And indeed it does. Very good. That marvelous power of yours, I was not aware of it. Well, that's kind of my job, going around and making people aware of it. One step. One step, really, game? One step. Anyway, heading over this way, we have Bianca standing on an item. Right there, calcium. Nice to have a hold of that. You know, I have to wonder if we actually are out of wild Pokemon to catch in this area, but I'm going to be stubborn about it. Green shard, very nice. Pretty soon I'll have enough of those to go to the move tutor and get a lot of good stuff. Anyway, right here, you strike me as the type who fills out the habitat list. Come on, tell me what kind of Pokemon live in Reversal Mountain. Huh, that's amazing. So these Pokemon live here then. Thanks for showing me something good. Let me pay you back with this. And we get, ooh, yes! TM54 False Swipe. This is the Pokemon catcher's dream move, because it will always leave the opponent with at least one hit point remaining. This move cannot, under any circumstances, knock out an opponent, which means it is very, very good for catching Pokemon. False Swipe leaves a Pokemon with 1 HP when it would have fainted. It's a very restrained move. It's a great TM to use for catching Pokemon and filling out the habitat list. Now, I really like False Swipe's Japanese name. Its Japanese name is Blunt Strike, which refers to striking something with a dulled blade. Now, unfortunately, False Swipe cannot, under normal circumstances, hit ghost types. Right here we have an Elixir, which is very nice, which means you'd probably want to pair it with something that knows Foresight so it can force ghost types to be hit by it. I think the ideal Pokemon, Water Gem, very nice. The ideal Pokemon would probably be a Pokemon with Damp to prevent the opponent from causing explosions, that knows Mean Look, Thunder Wave, False Swipe, and Foresight. Not sure if something like that is actually possible, but I think it'd be very, very nice to have. Here we have the Toxic Orb, which is an interesting item that poisons the user at the end of the turn when it is held. Definitely a move that you want to trick onto the opponent somehow. I suppose another thing you might want to have on a Pokemon that learns False Swipe, if you can get it on there, is give it a move such as Ingrain, which will prevent the user from being switched out, because that would prevent Roar from taking effect, if such a thing were to happen. Now, luckily, Game Freak seems to have gotten away from putting roaming Pokemon in games. I believe the last game with a roaming Pokemon in it was Black and White. I personally don't count the legendary birds in X and Y because after you encounter them a certain number of times in that game, they will actually, quote-unquote, settle down and you can fight them in just a regular battle. So honestly, I don't think it really counts. And honestly, I don't really miss that mechanic because it was incredibly frustrating at times. Anyone who has seen episode, I want to say, 100 of Pokemon Liquid Crystal would know that, because it took me about, I'd say, a minute and a half to get a hold of Raikou, but then almost another hour to get a hold of Entei, which is kind of ridiculous. So, it's honestly a mechanic I do not in the slightest miss. And those types of Pokemon were the only ones I would usually use my Master Ball on, so it's entirely possible we'll get to the end of this LP without myself having used the Master Ball at all. Although I think it might be fun to use the Master Ball on the last Pokemon we catch, no matter what it is. I don't know, we'll have to see. I have a feeling that's decently far in the future. As I've mentioned in the past, this LP is definitely going to be longer than Liquid Crystal, although by how much I am not certain. And honestly, I think after this LP is over, we're probably going to have a few short ones, just because this is a very huge project with catching all of these Pokemon. I don't remember if I've mentioned this recently, but our current game playtime is approaching 55 hours, which is insane. And I don't even let the game sit while I am typing in metadata and editing and things. That's all just hunting time for Pokemon. Anyhow, we get another Persimberry right here. I like how you usually find these guys in pairs. Geothermal heat and abundant minerals. Yes, volcanoes hold the planet's energy. I like how they try and teach you science at times in Pokemon. But yes, I like how they find ways to sneak berries to the player, even if in a limited quantity, because even though they are not obtainable normally, it's nice to have these little chances to get them. Now, since we're almost at the end of this area, I might as well show off this rather amusing oversight. When you defeat 2 wild Pokemon in a double battle, it plays the trainer victory music instead of the wild Pokemon victory music. Very strange oversight. I'm pretty sure I also showed that off in a previous video, but I figured it's worth pointing out here since this is pretty much an LP all our own. But anyway, through there is actually the end of the dungeon, so I think what we are going to want to do is we are going to want to take Bianca back over to that cave entrance we saw earlier and let her do a bit of research. So let's head over there and do that. And of course, as soon as I decide to make an actual jump cut in a video, we have Throw right here, which is a Pokemon we do not yet have. Unfortunately, I am expecting Bianca to attempt to use Psychic on it, but we can hope that she's going to prioritize Energy Balling that Wooper. So we're just going to have to cross our fingers on that one. Gonna stall a bit by paralyzing Throw right here. And of course she's using Psychic on the Throw right there. Which is really unfortunate, since that's probably one of the only Pokemon in this area we don't have. Ah well, since the rest of this battle is pretty much throwaway, I'm gonna meet you guys over by that cave. Looks like we get another try, because I just found another Throw on the way over to that cavern. I don't know if I should count myself lucky or unlucky. I guess, before I decide, let's see how this next turn goes. Hopefully she'll Energy Ball the Wooper this time. Come on, cross your fingers, guys. Yeah, she did. Awesome. Now, unfortunately, judging by that last attempt, we know that Musharna is capable of one-shotting Throw right here. So I think we just have to chuck a Dusk Ball and hope for the best. Nice. Throw was caught. Very nice. Throw and Sock are kind of viewed as counterparts, even though evolutionarily speaking they are not related whatsoever. So I think we could probably count this as the completion of a line, at least in an abstract sense. When it encounters a foe bigger than itself, it wants to throw it. Huh, who would have guessed? It changes belts as it gets stronger. Very nice. Honestly, I feel like Throw and Sock are kind of like the poor man's Hitmonlee and Hitmonchan, but I think they probably have their uses in their own right. But anyway, right over here is the cavern that Bianca wanted to explore, so let's head on inside. What is this place? It feels very strange. Could this be the place where Reversal Mountain started from? The lair of the Pokemon Heatran? Heatran is a Pokemon with magma-like blood flowing through it. Wait, so we don't actually leave her here? I'm not the toughest trainer, but I was able to continue my journey because my Pokemon worked so hard for me. Oh. Goes to show how much of this game I actually remember from when I played through it a few years ago. I guess we don't actually leave Bianca here. I guess we leave her at the other end of the dungeon. Which means I should have just entered this cavern back when we were over here the first time. Oh well, a bit of a flub on my part. I guess in that case I'll meet you guys over back where we were at the end of the dungeon. Alrighty, here we are at the end of the cavern, so let's head right on through. And this is the last area of Reversal Mountain. If we head right on down here, this is the exit from the cave. Oh, Undella Town is right through there. I want to keep looking around a bit more. What do you want to do? Should we say bye for now? I think now that we have explored the entirety of Reversal Mountain, that would be for the best. Okay then, I want to do a little more research about Heatran anyway. Thank you for coming with me. Be careful on the rest of your journey. And off she goes, although I would be willing to bet that's not the last we are going to be seeing of Bianca. But anyway, right through here is Undella Town. Probably one of the more atmospheric areas in the Pokemon world, especially when it is not the season of summer. But I think, now that we have made it here to Undella Town, we should end things off. So, this past episode of Pokemon Blaze Black 2, we made our way through the rest of Reversal Mountain and caught ourselves a couple of brand new Pokemon for our collection. And next time on Pokemon Blaze Black 2, we are going to be exploring Undella Town, and perhaps some of the surrounding areas as well. So without further ado, thank you all for watching, and I will see you guys next time.